Hello, I hope you're well. Welcome to my new subscribers. So in this video I'm going to show you my experiments to repair silicone molds. This one I use all the time. The bottom now is very damaged. In particular, I think you know when you make water drops. Well, it damaged the mold a bit. You have to be very careful. And I also think that it's better not to do it in holographic molds. I think it's the fact of putting them under the UV lamp. I don't know. So I'm going to try to give them a facelift. I saw on Julie's channel from Pouring Your Earth Out that she had repaired molds like that by pouring silicone into them. So we are trying. Why not? My silicone is ready. I'll pour it little by little, and you'll see that I'm putting a thin layer of it. Obviously it shouldn't be too thick. And I'll even spread it with my fingers. I like to feel things. And I'll remove little bubbles with a little spike, and we'll see how it looks. I'll put it to dry for 24 hours. I spread it well, but silicone is a bit like resin. It levels itself. I put it in the freezer to see if it took at all. So for me it doesn't work. Is it my silicone? I don't know. What silicone Julie uses? I don't know. So it doesn't work. I'm a little frustrated, but that's how it is. I just clean it with a wipe. Yes, it's completely liquid. I don't know why. A failed experiment. So it doesn't work for me. It doesn't work. Then I'll continue to use it to experiment. It's a bit of shame because I had a lot of hope in this way, but it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Let's not be so stubborn. And my silicone, I know, was perfect because I always pour some elsewhere to make a control to see, and I had poured it on my kind of mold to make an inlay, and it worked very well. My silicone dried very well, no problem. So I'm going to try another experiment. Yes, never give up. I have had this mold since my beginnings in resin. It's a mold that comes from Just For You Online UK. I made a mistake. Like many beginners, I heated my resin too much, and in fact I burned my mold. The resin fused with the silicone. So I'm going to remove this little piece of resin that has been stuck for many months, and I'm going to try another experiment with another product. So here, I don't know if you can see it well. It's a little bit difficult, but it's here. It's there. So I know that there is a product called Seal Epoxy that you can get on Amazon, I think. Even if in France it's a little bit complicated, and moreover it's very expensive. So I bought a product named Siliglu. You see, it's from Cleopatra. I found it on Amazon too, and I'm going to test it. I'll see if it works. So I'm not going to use the little nozzle. I'm going to put a little bit on my hole and I'm going to spread it as best as I can to try to make a flat surface. So I'm starting with a little wooden tool and a stick, but it doesn't work very well, so I'm going to do with my fingers and with the gloves, but it's not very easy either. So I clean it up and put it back on, so that's more or less flat. I won't hide the fact that it's a little difficult, especially with these gloves. With this glue you have 5 minutes of work and then it's 24 hours for everything to dry. I checked it from time to time and even added more to try to make a nice surface. It's not perfect, obviously. 24 hours later. Yes, it's not perfect, not perfectly flat. So I'm going to try it anyway. I'm going to pour some resin in it. I don't want to use too much resin, so I'm not going to fill up my molds, and that's why I put little things underneath, so that it's a little bit raised. So that the resin stays against that damaged edges. I'll see how it looks when I take it out of the mold. It's going to be a surprise. So I show you again with the silicone glue what it looks like. You can see that it's not perfect. It's not smooth like we want the molds to be, and it's rather dull. But I may have found a solution anyway. It's a little hard to see, I admit, but it's here. Yes, the hole is here. So I'm going to pour a little resin, but I decided to cheat a little bit. I'm going to put some crushed glasses. I'm going to put it on the edge, and I'm going to see if my repair is still very visible or not. So I'm going to put a little bit of it, not too much either, and I'm going to pour a little bit of resin on top. I also take the opportunity to put some resin on little things that are left. This is a square that I made. It's been a long time since I had the effect of waves, so I put some little starfish, some little pebbles. It's not extraordinary, it's not great, but it's been a long time since I tried this effect. I had a little fun. So I'm going to pour my resin in my little oval dish and in my coaster that needed an extra layer, since I used them for my experiences. And they are quite scared, so when I unmold them it shows and it's not very pretty. So here it's just to show you that very quickly, and I just pour a thin layer of resin. So it's dry. I take it out of the mold to check what my repair did with my silicone glue. With the crushed glass, it hides the defect, but obviously it's still here. I show you. The resin is still quite soft, but you can see the hole. Not the hole, but it's not perfect. I wonder if it's not enough to apply a coat of epoxy resin. Once your coaster is dry, you can see the mark. Yes, it's not shiny like the other part. So why not, if you have a mold that you want to try this kind of repair? But since I cheated a little bit with my crushed glass, I decided to try again, but this time with white colored resin. I spared you the mixing and pouring. So I'm going to unmold this white resin, and my defect is still there, of course. And then I had an idea. What if I use UV resin? It's to test my idea to put some resin on the back of the coaster where it's damaged after drying, to see if it's a good idea or not. Since I have a very narrow strip, I can't pour epoxy resin, it would hold up. So I'm going to pour a little bit of UV resin, and I'm going to spread it, and you'll see, rather roughly, if I may say so. I didn't do anything very fine. After passing under my UV lamp, it's about dry. Well, I think it works. You can't see the mark anymore. No. Okay, it's okay for me. Once everything is dry, once your creation is hardened, you pour a layer of epoxy resin on the part where there is a little defect. But you still have to fill in the hole of the irregularity you have as best you can. Yes, you want to make something that's just about clean. This silicone glue is not bad for that, and I think it can pretty much work. Yes, I think. So, I hope this video was useful to you. Don't hesitate to ask me any questions you may have. These are little tricks that can sometimes help. So now take care of yourself. I'll see you soon for new adventures. So now, see you soon. Bye.